First of all, I just wonder if you could sum that game up for us. Looked to be a little bit rusty at times, but eventually got the job done. How would you sum up that 80 minutes?
Look, I think we got put under a lot of pressure in that first 25 minutes, and they found ways to slow the ball down. We tried to force our game a little bit, and a lot of that was the pressure that they put us under. So they probably deserve a lot of credit for the way they started that game, the Italians. And I think what I was pleased with is that we started to just tighten our game up after a few errors and applied a lot of pressure on them, mainly through our set piece, and that worked really, really well. But they stayed in the game right to the end, and I think for this particular All Black team, it was a great test match for us to have, because we didn't get it our own way and we had to find a way.
Sam, when it's not going your way out there, scoreless still after kind of 25 minutes, mistakes creeping in, what's your message to the guys? What do you say to the guys to try and keep them calm and keep them on track out there?
I think at that point in the game, it can be easy to switch your attention from what needs to be done to sort of what the scoreboard's doing and worrying about external things. So it's really important to focus in on what we can control, pretty much the process of what's next and what's the next task. And look, it can be frustrating when we focus on the next task and then don't get it right. So we've got to reset and go again. But that's having the ability not to get frustrated, stay in it, and trust that we'll get it right. And when we do, we can punish them. So there was some testing times out there in terms of sort of the frustration levels when we couldn't get the game going how we normally would like to. But I think, as Fozzie said, it was a pretty good learning experience for a lot of the young guys. I think it probably highlighted the lack of experience when we were trying to set up for the haka, and a lot of guys wanted to be in the back row. So we got it was awesome to get back out there, and I think I was proud of the way that we didn't allow frustrations to creep in and affect our game too much.
Well, thanks, Ollie. Tom Vinicom, do you want to jump in?
Thanks, Joe. G'day, guys. Hey, Ian, not the first time you guys have made quite a few changes from one match to the other. Generally speaking, it hasn't had too much of an impact. Do you think that had an impact today, or have you learned basically that it was really just Italy's playing and other things causing issues?
Oh, I think it always has an impact, Tom. We know that. It's up to us whether it's a good impact or a bad impact. And this group's been training together. We always knew this was going to be a massive step up in terms of what Italy were going to do compared to the USA, and that's exactly what it was. So and the fact that it took us a while to settle down, that's not unusual in a test match. And I like the fact that we actually found a way. Like, were we frustrated after 27 minutes? Well, clearly we were, but we didn't allow ourselves to get too loose. We found some solutions and still scored 3 tries in that first half, which was pleasing, and then added a few more in that second half. So overall, really delighted with the score, with the result, but we got a good workout.
Yes, thank you. Sam, just for you, obviously, like Fozzie said, scored a few tries before half-time. What was sort of the mood in the changing room at half-time, and what kind of was the talk like, I guess, the coaches and the players in terms of getting back out there for the second half?
Yeah, the chat was very much solution focused, like identifying what was going well and what wasn't. And obviously there's a few more things that weren't going well and how we could try to rectify those. And then also just coming out that second half, bringing a wee bit more, I suppose, intent with what we wanted to do, particularly at the breakdown, because we weren't getting much favours there, and it was a bit of a challenging period for us. So those were probably the key messages.
Cheers, thank you.
Cool. Liam, do you want to jump in now? Liam Napier?
Hey guys, just in terms of the attack, Ian, it looked like struggled with the rush in the midfield. Would you have liked to have seen a bit more variety in terms of some different kicks, or do you just put that down to the breakdown struggling? You found a lot of success with the rolling maul, but just generally that the attack seemed to struggle to get going.
Yeah, I think when we moved the ball to spaces where it wasn't on, we got put under pressure, and again we knew that was coming, and we were trying to, tried a few options within that space, but we ended up making a whole lot of handling errors, and particularly that area, and then also handling errors at the contact point where we got a bit loose with our carry and got a bit ambitious with some passes / offloads on that tackle line. So it culminated in us being a bit messy early on. But again, I think if you go to the second half, we actually went more to the middle of the park than we did in the first half. We actually spread them out a little bit more and actually started to get some reward, but not all the time. So there's no one strategy here. There's a whole lot, and we've got to be good enough to see it at the time.
Cool,
Yes,
thanks, Liam. We'll jump in because we're just running a wee bit short of time here. I know, guys, it's tricky. We'll go to Mark Hinton and then Lachlan War.
Sure. Hi, Ian, Mark here. I just wonder what you made of Dane Coles' performance as he kind of builds his way back to full fitness and form.
Yeah, pretty good. He had his hands on his heads after 49 minutes, so he looked like he'd given everything, and as we expect Colesy to do. So, but really pleased for him. It's again, he had a big leadership role along with Sam, and particularly that pack where there's a number of younger guys in there, and overall, they'll be pretty pleased with their game.
Cool. Lachlan, jump in.
Yeah. Just one quick one from me, Ian. I guess just the loose forwards in the front row obviously have had a fair bit of rotation over the last few months. Just a word on how both departments performed, and the guy next to you as well.
Yeah, look, overall pretty good. I think if you judge, if you judge our pack based on some of the set piece work we did, I thought it was really, really good. We carried well, but we also tried to overcomplicate that for parts. But overall, pretty pleased, and it's like I've said right from the day one, it's a tour like no other. We've had to make sure that we grow depth on this tour because we've got players here for a long, long time, and again, we're delighted with the progress we're getting out of that. And so tonight's just another really good learning curve for a number of newer players.
Alessandro, Betty, you've got your hand up for a question.
Yes, this question is for Coach Foster. I would, if you go out from Rome with a good sensation on your team and your performances, and if you're happy with the performance of Christie, which is currently your fourth choice after Smith, Perenara, and Weber, and today you did a great job.
Overall thought on the performance as well as Finlay Christie's performance.
Okay. Yeah, look, I think, Alessandro, it was a performance, it was a good learning performance where we learned to deal with a lot of pressure and came out the other side. So that side of it I'm pretty pleased with. And, to finish both halves in a really strong manner was pleasing. Clearly we probably have to work on some of our decision making with the ball a little bit better. We put ourselves into a few brick walls at times, but that's okay. We'll tidy that up. In regard to Finlay, yeah, good. He's a live wire. He probably started a little bit interesting. I think he gave up 2 penalties and a knock on in the first 3 or 4 minutes that he was on, but he's settled down and he's a good player. He's courageous. He hoes into everything. He's quick. And I think the more time he spends here, the better he'll get.
Grazie, Coach.
Grazie.
Cool, thanks. Sorry I cut you off before, Liam. Do you want to jump in with one last one before we let these guys go?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Sam, just how are you feeling? 80-minute shift, and your return and regaining the captaincy. Tough old match, but yeah, just generally, how was the experience? How are you feeling after going the full hog?
Yeah, look, honestly, just loved it. It was awesome to get back out there. like you said, it tested the frustration a wee bit from a captaincy point of view, but from a personal point of view and getting back playing footy and having the opportunity to pull on the All Black jersey and then, have to dig a wee bit deep to go the full 80 was an awesome feeling. And, one of the things you sort of love about, I love about rugby is being able to sit in the sheds and know that you emptied the tank and gave it all. And so that's the feeling today. And just a nice feeling for a lot of hard work over the last 6 or so months. So I'm pretty satisfied.